at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern, that's 4 Pacific, for about an hour and 90 minutes. Talk about different gun-related subjects every day, different subjects throughout the week. We run it live on YouTube, and we simulcast it over at gunchannels.com. We're watching the live chat that's coming in over at Gun Channels and over on YouTube. When it's all over, we'll let it render into a video, and we'll take the audio from that, run it as a podcast over on iTunes. So we're encouraging everybody that listens to the show now or in the future to give us some feedback on whatever platform it is you listen to us on, so we know where you're listening, and that'll help to get the show recommended to more listeners, and that's a goal. So we do appreciate that favor. There are hosts, but there's 3 of us here today, and let's see, we got Dano jumping in from Illinois. Thanks for joining.
Hopefully I can be here for the full time.
You said you can be here for the full time? Yeah,
never mind.
Yeah, we're having issues with Dano's mic tonight. And then we got Z jumping in from the island of Maui.
Hello, hi, everybody.
Somehow millions of miles farther away, but somehow very clear on the audio levels. So better pipes going to Hawaii than we got going to Illinois. We got snow in Illinois, maybe. Just snow on the pipes. Anyway, then I'm down here in Arizona. Hopefully I'm coming in.
The sun with.
All right, so it'll be maybe a little bit choppy tonight because we're having a mic issue there, but we will dig into the show. Today is episode 243. It's our Wednesday show, so it's the big tactical quiz show. Everybody's always looking forward to that. It's the most exciting time of the week for a lot of people, so we're happy to provide that to you. At any point, potentially, we could have a tactical pop quiz. Dano is still connected, so that means at any time that could happen. And we're going to be talking about our various topics today, CCW and entertainment. Of course, we have things like our show, our gun shop of the day, our gun movie, and things like that. But before we get into all our daily topics, we usually take a break at the beginning to see if anything happened overnight. Anything worth talking about?
Pretty uneventful evening on this end. It's still, I'm getting used to the new time and what I'm doing after. So, like, I ended up doing like some yard work and stuff like that real quick yesterday.
Yard work? You live in Hawaii?
Yeah.
What the hell, yard work? Is that like raking the coral or something, or the lava rocks?
Read a book.
Come on. Ridiculous.
Come on, read a book.
No ball us. So, yeah, I can imagine they'll having a show in the middle of the night now, or in the middle of the evening. I don't know what it is for you, middle of the afternoon.
It is now 2:16 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time.
Oh, actually, see, it's all different for you, but for me, it's a lot different not having the show in the middle of the day, noon or 1 o'clock, a little bit of prep time, a little bit of after time. It's basically a 2-hour chunk in the middle of the day, and now it's shifted to the evening. So I'm really enjoying it. Hopefully we'll get some feedback from the viewers and listeners to find out what they think about the actual live time. I
do like it because I got finished with the one, like I'm completely done with the first job for today. So there's no stress level on that, which is nice. And then it's just a little bit of a make sure to hustle to get home and everything like that.
Right on.
Which clearly I'm here, so it's all good.
I'm sure the local law enforcement, being big fans of the show, if they see you going a little bit faster than, let's say, it would be appropriate for the area, they're going to just flag you right on through, knowing that you're trying to get to the show.
Well, they might flag me, but I don't know that they would flag me right on through. More than happy to just pull me over and give me a ticket. Trust me.
Quite a few shows yesterday. We stepped right on top of the throat of Andalusia Armory, so hopefully people went back and watched that if they were listening to our show, or after they watched Andalusia Armory and the other shows, they watched ours. Then we had Hit or Miss was on last night, I suspect. And then
it was.
And then Big Gunner had a show on as well. So that was the stuff happening over at Gun Channels. There might have been other stuff going on Tuesdays, and that's something that we're interested and willing to include when we do our gun channels today. So if you're listening and you're familiar with some other podcasts out there, and I guess maybe I'm talking to the podcast listeners out there, if you're familiar with other podcasts that are worth listening to, we are trying to be of service to the people that are listening. So if there's other stuff that we can recommend, feel free to recommend them to us, and then we'll relay that out to everyone. So if there are other shows that happen on Tuesdays or any day of the week, really, let us know. Our email is dailygunshow@gmail.com, and we check that periodically, so we can relay any kind of info you might want to pass along to everybody. All right, so then, well, I guess we'll dig in to the show. I don't know if Dano has anything there, or if he's going to be...
Nope, I'm just waiting for the show to start and my connection to hopefully hold on.
Yeah, sound pretty good.
Excellent.
So we're going to be talking about our CCW topic first, I suppose. And today's subject is best way to transport while gun running. I guess I read that.
I don't believe that's what that says, but okay.
That's what it actually says, though. Best way to transport while gun running. I assumed when I first read this, because I'm dyslexic, I thought...
Actually, no, that is truly what that is what it says. I thought it didn't say that earlier, and yes, sure enough, that's what it says.
Running with a gun, like somehow jogging or something, which I'm morally opposed to. I really think there's problems with that, and it's detrimental. So I would never
say like inside mufflers and perhaps interior walls of an RV, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident the person just typed the words in reverse order.
Well, gun running isn't as easy as you think, because the solvents and the preservatives, like the cosmolines and those kind of things, let alone the gunpowder residue, and
very distinct for smell.
Yeah, they all have poignant smells, and there's dogs that are able to sniff that stuff out just as much as they're able to sniff out the drugs and whatnot. So I'd suspect it's probably a little tougher to transport guns than drugs and things, because drugs you can cram into all kinds of crazy shapes, nooks and crannies, where guns, take up physical space and they are a shape. So probably a lot tougher. So I don't know if we're going to be able to give you much help on that.
According to the documentaries, you might even be able to make them into the shape of like a TV or a van.
Yeah.
Yes.
So are we in the direction of exercising and carrying?
Well, I made a commitment to myself, a life commitment to myself, a moral decision that I would never run again unless somebody was paying me to do it, after I had to run when I was younger. So I don't know what's this. This is a foreign concept to me. I can't imagine running unless my life was in danger, if I was about to fall in a chasm or something. I can't imagine why I would want to run.
Well, imagine that if you were, 17 years old, we're getting ready for basic training.
Well, 17 years old, you can't have a CCW, 17. So.
College, getting ready to go to officer candidate school.
All right, so let's say somebody...
8 miles a day.
I don't know how you would run with a gun. That seems crazy.
Belly band.
You think a belly band would work? I guess. Yep. It seemed like it would be twisting and turning on your core.
Oh, it is. There's a lot of crappy shit happening, but at the same time, unless you're going with a pocket pistol that is pretty small, and you're doing the Adidas triple stripe, where maybe if it doesn't smack into your nutsack so much, you can actually make it through a couple mile jog. Other than that, you're going to have to do some type of sports bra type of, or not sports bra, but what's the one that Lenny McGill does?
I was going to say, I think those T-shirts might be the way to go.
That's the one I'm talking about. The compression T-shirt. Where it basically acts as a shoulder post.
Go down.
380 Kel-Tec.
Yeah, everybody rags on Kel-Tecs, but the P3AT is a nice, I would think it would be an ideal gun for running. They're very lightweight and small.
Exactly.
And
but isn't the Ruger, what's the new?
That horrible cheese grater texture that they have on them would probably help them stay in something like one of those armpit holsters in a T-shirt.
Thank you. DB's out there. He's got my back. Thanks, DB. Because, I was trying to talk about the LCP 380. That thing's tiny. It's just about as big as the 3AT. And then he also, again, thanks for being out there, Moon and DB. We almost need to get him in here because he just said he just walked about 4.5 miles. What is AWIB?
It means like in an Uber or something. He's faking.
No, that doesn't. Smart guy. And he said he did it with his inside waistband. Maybe?
The LCP is going to be the same size as a Kel-Tec because they just waited for the Kel-Tec copyrights to expire, so that they just cloned it and they smoothed it all down. So now it would slip right out of your holster. That would be my concern. So
well, and then he said he used the G43. By the way, is what he was saying.
He probably appendix carries, even though it's anti-Yankee doesn't approve.
Oh, maybe that's what the exercise. I bet you that is what it was. I bet you it is appendix inside waistband. I bet you that's exactly what he was saying. He just switched two of the letters. And then Robbie's out there saying that there are running belts that you can hang inside waistband from. And then Moon's out there with the theory of you're going to be running with your chest rig. Is what Moon Food is saying. Chest rig. Kind of.
I don't know what he's saying there.
I know what he's saying.
Guys into chest rigs.
You're breaking up a little bit. What did you say about?
But they were getting ready to go. They were in the military program at school.
I'm sure he's saying something interesting about the military program at school, wearing chest rigs or.
I think that's because they're getting ready for something, like they're gonna part of their training, right? So, but here's the deal: we're talking about CCW. So, chest rig is not CCW.
That's a good point, and you're getting a suggestion to jingle your dongle, Dano. Jiggle your dongle.
I think he's referring to when you are running. I think.
I thought he meant Mike.
Oh, maybe. I don't know what that means. Is that code for something?
You know, like his mic is sounding shitty, so he's saying he should jiggle it. BuzzBombs is saying you can run with just about any gun in almost any holster. Just put the safety on and make sure everything is snug. I guess. I don't know. Like I say, I don't really run too much, but I remember when I did run, when I had to, I didn't like having stuff on. I didn't mind doing it in PT crap, but
G, you've been to SHOT Show enough times to know what I'm about to mention. What is that freaking the clip? And I mean literally, it goes right on the side of your slide, basically, and then basically it just clips onto your waistband. What is that thing called? Or is it just called the clip?
Just all that.
Everybody has a specific name.
You're very intermittent, Dan. But I missed what you said, Z. I dunked out.
Okay, so I know you are familiar with this because you've been to SHOT Show enough times. It is literally a clip, and it like mounts to the slide or something of your firearm. So it's not even like it's a holster. It's not even like it covers the trigger guard or anything like that. It literally is a clip, and you just put it on your freaking waistband of like your shorts or what have you. And so you do know what I'm talking about, G?
I think I know what you're talking about, but I have absolutely zero experience with it, and I don't think I would be interested.
Oh, I'm not saying I would either because it would pull my pants down. I mean, there are time and place, but that's not usually when I'm running. Just saying. And okay. You know what? So we're talking about CCW, best way to carry while running and stuff like that. Moon, okay, he was joking with the chest rig, but he followed up with chest rig zip up hoodie, CCW. Okay. Now, I will agree with him. I don't know necessarily chest rig if I was wearing a hoodie, but maybe a shoulder holster or something, or even you could almost do the pilot carry or whatever, you know, or captain carry, whatever that would have been called.
Well,
where it's almost like guide carry, but it's just a little more over to the side.
Like guide gun, yeah. So no, like a shoulder holster, and that might be what Moon is saying. And then if you wore like a sweatshirt or something, even just a regular shirt, really, over on top of that, then you'd be okay. I would imagine having it suspended off of your shoulders would be better than your pants or whatever, especially if you're wearing something with just like elastic to hold them up.
Yep.
But I would think flopping all around and everything. I still think I would go probably with something like which I already have, or P3AT, which I already have in one of them T-shirt things, which I don't already have because, again, I'm morally opposed to this whole concept of running.
Oh, I think Robbie.
What are you running from? Here's what I would ask: what are you running from if you ain't criminal? What do you got to run?
Fire, lava, mudslide, flood, charging beasts, earthquake, hurricane, tornado. Did I mention fire? But I guess the reason I'm trying to name all those things, G-Webs, is because I know what you're going to say. If I mention anything that's animal or a person created, it's like, well, I'm not going to run. I'm just going to do what I got to do. So what I was trying to do was trying to find something that you can't shoot your way out of.
You think I won't punch the shit out of a lava flow?
Yeah, you know what, bro? Nice knowing you. Nice knowing you.
All right. Well,
lava flow don't play none unless you're talking about the beverage, which is actually quite tasty.
I don't know what that is.
They make a beverage called the lava flow, and it is quite tasty.
Well, I'm going to suggest that we have completely covered this one, and if anyone has had any questions about running with firearm, they've now had those addressed to ultimate completion.
Ooh, I have validation. I have validation in the chat. Chris is out there. What was my very first suggestion, G-Webs?
Belly band.
Right, and Mr. Chris is out there saying he's run marathons with a belly band. So there you go. Oh, nice, and running for cover. Thank you. That was on the YouTube side. Thanks, guys.
You mean like been the one who orchestrated and then facilitated the marathon? Just standing there with a clipboard? Anybody can do that with a belly band.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that.
Okay, so
but anyway,
I'm going to suggest though that the segments of our show are to get conversation going, whether that be on one of the live chats over on gun channels, or if you're creating content of your own, do a podcast or a blog post about this topic. And of course, feel free to shame us because we don't even assume.
Oh, nice.
That we're giving you the ultimate knowledge here. We're just trying to broach some of these subjects to get the conversation going.
And just to finish it off, Chris did say he did competed. He did competed. Yes, that's what I meant. And then also car carriers over on the other side saying he has a pistol wear, air quotes, shoulder holster that he wears to the gym. Works pretty good. It's a stretchy material. So that's awesome. So we actually did cover the subject pretty good, which is awesome.
Does the treadmill count?
As running? Yes, absolutely.
I think that a treadmill might be a good way to check, to practice or test out the theory
to
of
judge. Yeah, is this going to work, or is this going to fall out on the floor?
I mean, no, I put a fanny pack up on where the controls are, right in
breaking up, but you're talking about
off-body carry.
But a fanny pack would be another option, I guess. You
absolutely
wouldn't front, but you could put it over to the side, I guess. And
yeah, I always put it up front because I want immediate access to it.
Well, when you're running, though, it seems like a ball slapper.
Keep it taut, and you keep it up. Yeah, it'll.
When we're talking fanny packs, I can remember what we had when we were cool little kids. For fanny packs aren't nothing like what these crazy giant old man fanny packs are nowadays. So I imagine we might all be thinking about different things.
I'm talking something 26.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating that what Dan was saying ain't coming through real well.
I think he said small enough or big enough that a Glock 26 will fit in it.
All right, we'll assume that's what he said. And then we will conclude this segment of the show and go on to the next segment. I don't know if we have to worry about time today or not, but just to continue with the momentum of it. We're going to move on to entertainment, and today we'll be talking specifically about toy guns. I guess even more specifically, we have here water, paint, and laser. But before we do, we'd like to take a break between the first and second segments of our show every day to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a place that we built a while back now. That's a community. It's focused on firearms. It's membership driven, and that's why we like to feature a member every day. Today we're featuring Night Strike, who is a good friend. He's been participating in Gun Channels for a while now. We've featured him quite a few times already, but it's worth it. He's a good example of what we built a place for somebody that wants to contribute and collaborate with others and add knowledge to the web, I guess.
And he does help out a lot. I mean, he's on the early watch. Sometimes he'll be on some of our chats. Then he's also doing hit or miss, let alone he's in some of the other chats as well. Like, he's out there trying to help a lot.
All right, so then we'll move on. And what the hell? I'm saying Night Strike, and I'm thinking Dead Horse, I think. So, yeah, Night Strike is also the show, host of Hit or Miss. It happened last night, and it'll happen again on Tuesday, next Tuesday. You can be
right.
Feel free to keep typing, Dano, and occasionally it does connect. So I don't know. Continue to keep fiddling with it if you want. Otherwise, if you want to drop out, it's up to you. But we'll continue to keep moving. We're going to talk about entertainment then. So toy guns, water, paint, and laser. So I guess where do we start with that?
I recommend all three because you know, gee, when we started out, let's put dart down there as well. Because do they even have dart guns anymore? As toy guns, you know, cap guns.
Are you talking about something that could shoot a projectile out and poke some other kid in the eyeball?
Yep.
I don't even know why you could imagine wanting to own something like that.
Oh, dude, because they're awesome. I have one that's the only legal AK pistol that I can own in the state of Hawaii was a actual dart gun, as a matter of fact.
Wait, are you talking like a BB gun that shoots a dart?
No.
You're talking like a suction cup dart.
Yeah. The plastic little flimsy ones that go, you know, however far. Because we're talking toys.
Well, so if we're talking that particular type of toy, I did have one that I fondly remember. I wish I still had it, but I don't. It was a side-by-side shotgun. You would break it open.
Oh, yeah. Sawed-off kind? Or it's not sawed-off, but shorty? Like real short?
Oh, no, definitely sawed-off short. And then no stock on it. And you would break it like if you were loading it, except, of course, nothing went in the back. But and it was just hollow plastic, so it didn't weigh anything. But then when you close it again, it was cocked, and then you would shove these little rubber suction cup things up front, one on each side.
Oh, dude, I had that.
Pretty good.
And I was Mad Max all the time with that thing. That was anytime that I was messing around with that thing, I was usually being Mad Max.
Big fan of it with those completely pliable, like rubber darts, as opposed to some of the shitty ones that were plastic with a rubber end on it.
With the hard plastic that would poke somebody in the eye and the little rubber on the end. Yep.
Well, but the problem is with those for me was that whenever you point them down, the dart would fall out. With those rubber kinds, they were shitty enough or like pliable enough or whatever that they would stay in there with friction, and they were pliable enough that they would just shoot out still. So they weren't
usually the plastic ones, the hard plastic, like the long tapered ones or whatever, they'd actually had a release at the back. Like they would click in, if you remember.
Sometimes, but those would break, and like I said, I didn't prefer those as much as I liked that shotgun. And
no, but that shotgun was cool because anytime we were having dart gun wars, everybody wanted to borrow that one, if you know what I'm saying. And every once in a while, we'd trade and whatnot. But usually, that was like my super secret. You know, whether it was inside the jean jacket pocket or, you know, it was one of those ones where it was, oh, I'm disarmed. No, I'm not. Both barrels. Here you go. Blap, blap. Blap, blap. And we ain't even and like, okay, water pistols. I mean, I remember like the cheesy ones that always leaked. They were super small. Because like UG, I seem to think we were pre-Super Soaker.
Oh,
I mean, we were definitely, I mean, we've lived it and everything like that, but there were no Super Soakers when we were kids.
Now, though, the coolest squirt gun thing that was around in the 80s was this Uzi that you would fill the mag up with water, and then you'd have to like guide the little mag hole into this little hose that was sticking out through the mag well. And then you jam it up in there like a mag, and then it made a little noise like a gun kind of. But anyway, it had a pump in it, and when you pull the trigger, it would pump. It was like electronic, and it would pump.
You had a battery in there of some kind, yes?
Yeah, and it was pretty heavy, and that thing was a little bit fragile, but it was super awesome. It was very awesome.
That was an expensive one. I never had one of those growing up.
So I guess I found a picture of our shotgun here. So I'm going to screen share that because that's super important.
It truly is.
And that Uzi somewhere, because I'm guessing that Uzi was around. But this is that shotgun that I'm thinking of. Mine might have looked different, but it was basically that.
It was different. Yep, it was different from that because it didn't have the little stock part.
Oh, I had a stock part on mine for sure. You had
it had the hand grip, but it never had the.
Well, mine was exactly like this. The only thing different about mine is it might have had some like more color, like they might have put a little more attention to the detail to make it look engraved.
Oh wait, like that one right there. Oh, here. Scroll back up.
Where do these come from?
No, not one of those. Let's see. Scroll back up a little bit. No, please. Scroll up. Okay. It was almost like the one that is on that row in the middle right here. Where your little thing was just on it. That one. It was almost like that one. Like literally, it did the same thing when you broke it in half. It cocked it, and then you put the darts at the end. But it was literally like that, where it had a pistol grip and it was like sawed off. Like it was the baddest of dart guns, basically.
So that means there were a couple of different ones out there.
I guess, yeah.
Now, I don't know. There's definitely channels out there that do toys and stuff. I never really looked, but I wonder if there's channels out there that go back and either find these old ones or just, know about them. And
I would want one of those because here's the other thing it didn't have growing up, G. We are also the pre-orange tip, if I remember.
Orange shit at all, except that the darts were colors so that you could find them, though. That wasn't it was just so you could find them.
Yep.
Yeah, I can remember when everything changed color. Well, when everything turned orange tip for a second, and then everything changed color. But for a while there, the guns were designed to make them look right. That
was part of the whole deal. Okay, so then if we're talking water guns, like you said, it seemed like Easter was usually the time for the new squirt gun, because in the Easter basket, it seemed like there was always some form of a new squirt gun in there. Because what always happened, they were hard plastic. That at some point you're dropping it on the cement or off a rock or something at some point when you're playing around with them. And the whole part of that is anytime that then when they started leaking, it's just took too much. You had to try and refill it too often. And this is your Uzi one. I definitely remember seeing the commercial for it and going, I want one of those. But it was like a $20 squirt gun or something, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I was young enough that I didn't care. I just asked for it and I got one, I guess.
Oh. We'll see. I grew up poor.
I was a little kid.
Poor.
I'm not saying I was super rich, but I definitely had like a Uzi shotgun, a Uzi squirt gun. This one's $16 for a not working one. Ooh, look, a Mac 10 version. So they made that one. That's $50. Here's one for $39 in a box, unused. So they're obtainable. You can still get one. So if we're talking stuff, I'm gonna go to that little green-looking thing with the yellow BBs.
Okay. Yeah. And is that a Spanish gun? Is what they were originally? The Zebra.
Is that what it is?
Yep. Except they came like in gold instead of that orange one right there.
Oh yeah, here we are.
Yeah. Or blue. Yep.
Well, I had color, and I don't know why, but they didn't, like you said, they didn't worry about they didn't have this orange tip on it, and they didn't make them in stupid colors. They made them in like this color and then black. And I think I got this color, so I thought it looked more like a laser gun or something.
Yep.
But yeah, these little red or these little yellow things were the shit.
Which were not biodegradable. The dog, cat, or whatever.
We could use those forever.
Oh yeah, no, and the disc gun. You see the one that's next one over to where you're at?
I do not like
to the right.
You know,
Oh, dude, the disc gun was just as much fun as the little plastic BBs for me, dude. Those were.
You couldn't use them over again. You could shoot them occasionally, use them again, but for the most part, they either got lost. They couldn't go as far, and then you couldn't use them as much. Especially,
but they stung more. Well, arguable.
Maybe.
Arguable.
They suck after a while. They're both springs. You'd have to keep getting.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But I remember you would get these things and you'd put like a string of them in your mouth, and then you would keep biting them off and spitting them into the thing. At least that's how we.
That's hilarious. Yes, I remember that.
I'm sure that was a choking hazard, but I can remember.
Oh, no doubt, dude. And that was the other thing. You know, we were also sort of at the cusp of the choking hazard changing toys.
We about poking eyes out with guns and stuff. I mean, we still were.
Well, yeah. Well, we had jarts as well, so we survived.
But I can remember every single time somebody would go to like the Walmart or whatever, which was a kind of a bigger deal back then. It wasn't like, you know, it was like, oh, we're going to the Walmart. This is our weekly visit to the Walmart or whatever. And then I didn't necessarily always go, but I would always be bugging them to get me some of these yellow things.
Oh, yeah, because you could never really have enough, really.
No, never. Even though you could use them over and over, especially in the house or whatever, you know, you needed more always.
Yep.
And those things were pretty good because if I remember right, they held them in there so you could put a bunch in there and then you could put them in your pocket. So unlike some of the guns you couldn't put in your pocket, these you could put in your pockets. They were good backups.
And you know about the hard dart one that we were just talking about a moment ago? That was like the Beretta one, if you remember. Like the Beretta dart gun was the long dart with the rubber tip, basically.
I didn't really have too many of the hard dart ones. Like this kind here you're talking about.
Yep, and it makes that the spring makes the creak sound, click.
Until this thing hits. But see, that's what would happen to mine, is the things would break off.
Oh yeah, once that's done, that's it. You only keep the rubber tip after that. Because you could always change those out.
I keep seeing this kind of business nowadays where they have, and I see these at the dollar store. So that makes
that's the new Nerf stuff.
Well, that makes me think that they're selling ammo at the dollar store, and you buy like a big package of this for like $1 at the dollar store, and then you go get your Nerf gun. That seems like a deal. Like I don't have any interest in buying one, but that seems like if you had a kid to, you know, to armor up, that seems like.
Oh, and I do want to say something about Tony in the YouTube chat. Yes, Kmart was definitely one of the spots, and we also had a place called Shopco, but because we did not have a Walmart where I grew up, we did have a Kmart and a Shopco though. Oh, now those? Okay, now wait a minute. Now we're talking like the Daisy. Pull it back, BB gun, single shot, and if you like kicked it open at the front, you could either put in a single pellet or a single dart, but then the rest of it was BB.
Was it Daisy?
Daisy or Crossman?
I think it was Crossman.
And it was a 45, or. Maybe it wasn't a 40. It wasn't a 45 really, but it was like that size, like that.
Yeah. So yeah, you would shove down the front sight here, and then you could have this placed. You could load BBs in there, a bunch of them underneath, or just
you could load a bunch of BBs underneath. Yep.
And then you'd put one of these darts that we were just looking at in the barrel, and that was the ultimate of ultimate, because now you're putting down lions and whatnot. You know, whenever you're out hunting, you're like tranquilizing.
Oh, that was when it was already, you know, don't shoot anybody in the face. Before that, when me and my stepdad actually got those one Christmas, we got the double down on the rules of engagement when we could start shooting darts in general directions, not usually at each other anymore. Like it was one thing when you had the dart guns or the other pistols and stuff like that, you know, you could have a little bit of fun. But then when it got semi-serious about that, and there was really no more shooting each other with that stuff.
Well, this one here is the good one for shooting darts out of, because this would shoot.
That's the real deal, isn't it? Isn't that like for tranquilizer or no?
Well, it's just a BB gun too. It's just that you had a little chamber up here that you could push a dart into, and you could pump this thing a bunch of times. So this.
Okay, I remember those. Is that the one that wanted to lodge the BB under the skin, basically?
You could do dangerous shit with this one for sure. It's a real BB gun. But unlike this thing where you could only cock it back and that's it. It was spring.
And let me tell you, once that spring started to go, it would barely kick a BB out of there, let alone anything else of actual weight.
But it's still.
I remember at some point, like you could literally watch the BB go across the room, so to speak.
Oh yeah, you could almost always. I mean, these things only shot them at spring power, but they're super cool. I still have.
Oh no, they were awesome. I started to learn the twirl and everything during that. That's where I learned some of my gun handling skills.
Exactly, and they're basically the size of 1911, so they're cool. And
if you remember, dude, that was all metal, and that shit was heavy. Like you could crack a walnut with that thing. Like legitimately.
All right.
And
so
now I have CO2.
Water, paint. No, we didn't do paint or laser.
Well, I was almost too old for when paint guns or paintball came out for the most part. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say too old because, there were adults and young adults that did it. It was just a sport that, if you remember when it came out, those things were kind of expensive.
They're super expensive for a long time. And
then whether we take that and we take it into where we talk paint or what's the other one that everybody does where it's almost the same little rubber ball stuff? Airsoft? You know what I mean?
When I was playing with stuffed toys, though.
Yeah, me either. Like that was totally after, and also again with how expensive that stuff was. But before we leave, we got to talk either about photon,
air splat.
No, airsoft was what I was talking about. We got to talk about photon and or laser tag. We have to talk about those two because those were in our wheelhouse growing up.
Yeah, you don't remember air splat? Oh, I guess I have to spell it right.
No, because all I see is chicks in bikinis, dude. So no, I don't.
It was some of the first air guns you could get them at, or paint guns. You could get them at Toys R Us or something, and they were almost like little paint sponges that would shoot out of like a BB-ish type of gun. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I thought it was air splat. But anyway, you're talking about photon.
Yeah, photon and laser tag were almost the same thing. Photon was a little more... I don't want to say ghetto because that isn't right, but it was not as refined.
The toys that you would buy.
Yeah, because the next one it says water, paint, and laser. So to me, like that's laser tag and that's photon.
Okay, I never bought this stuff. That stuff was already when I was like in high school or whatever. But we did go to the places that were like.
Oh, nice. One of my friends had actually a couple of my friends had those, so we'd run around the woods and stuff like that. He had laser tag. It seemed like photon.
So this was like a thing you would buy. Basically, it was this crap. You'd buy a helmet.
Yep.
It's like chest thingy that would stick to the helmet by these cords, and then a gun that I think was also connected by a cord, right?
Yep.
No, it wasn't. So then you would run around and you'd have to shoot somebody in their chest thing or in their helmet, I guess. But then the other one was just called laser tag.
And that was literally an even smaller little thing just on their chest, if I remember. And also, like photon, like you saw going to a place, like there were laser tag places. But I grew up in a pretty geographically isolated area. Like we didn't have the laser tag place to go to.
I don't remember these, so I might be looking for the wrong thing.
Yeah, I don't know. What did you type in?
Laser tag gun.
That's interesting. Like laser. Yeah, there you go. No, that's not even it either.
Thing, yeah, this is something different. So anyhow, I know what you were talking about though. It was basically the photon one was like basically what you would buy at Toys R Us or something, and the laser tag was like the other brand.
Right. And it was smaller and kind of slightly more streamlined. You know what I mean? That was like the theory, but it did not come with a helmet, if I remember correct. Laser tag did not come with a helmet, just the chest piece, I thought.
Now, when you would go to a place, they'd have like, I guess this is a bunch of people at one. Like you would go in and they'd have different sizes of these vests, and you'd put them on, and it was like quite elaborate. Actually, I don't know how the hell they made money because it seemed like a lot of stuff to break. Considering you're
dude, it was rental by time. Not if you think about it. It wasn't
Well, it was like per session. They'd have like a however many minute long game, and a bunch of people would pour in there. But I'm just saying, you would rent this stuff. Like, this is the best picture, I think. You'd rent this like vest, and well, ours had a helmet, and then like this gun. But you were renting them to a bunch of kids, and they would just run in there and smash into walls and drop stuff, and not care at all about it. So stuff had to be super rugged, I guess.
Yes.
Older kids that played like didn't destroy the stuff, but I know that when we would go in with like scouts or whatever, like we would just trash the place.
I want to say out to Car Carrier out there, I love that movie Gotcha from the 80s where where you were basically like a spy / assassin and you used and you were using a dart gun at that time.
Not a dart gun, a laser, like a paintball gun. It was a splat gun. So.
Are you sure? I thought I swore it was a.
Because they weren't. They were just They were tagging each other with a paintball. I thought.
Maybe.
One called Tag, the assassination game, and then the one was called Gotcha, and the one was like European, and the other one was American.
Right, and yeah, and the one had Gotcha was the one with Linda Fiorentino, I think, and Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, and then Tag was like they were both in a college campus, I think, right? But anyway, those set off the whole like concept of like running around in regular life and playing tag basically with guns.
Right, like real world role play or whatever.
So what we all did, since they made those movies before those guns were anywhere near commercially available, at like anywhere near what a kid could pay, we would just run around with BB guns, shoot each other.
Yeah.
But definitely encouraged a lot of that. And we got in trouble for running around shooting each other with BB guns in public. But
yep.
Definitely.
Yep, I would have to agree with you. There's more than a few scoldings and a taking away, depending on whatever the tool was. It was usually returned. I don't ever remember not getting it back at some point, but it was the we're taking that away for right now.
I feel obligated then to talk about my one friend who didn't even do it, or maybe he did. I forget. Somehow he got accused though of shooting the neighbor from across the street from his bedroom from his BB gun, and his dad got home and didn't even. The mom told him. The dad like grabbed the BB gun, went to the garage, and it was the type of garage where there's a steel pole holding up the middle of the garage.
Oh my!
Wailed onto that steel pole. Didn't even like give him a moment to even plead his case at all. And that was the last time he had a BB gun.
Yeah, that'll do it. And I have to admit, I do still have actually a break pellet rifle, and I do have a CO2 pellet pistol that's revolver style, just for target shooting here. That is one thing that I can do, and I made myself a little target with hardback and everything, so that I can shoot and be aware of my target and what's behind it, and with relative no worries.
Okay, I just looked up Tag, the assassination game.
Mm-hmm.
82. Linda Hamilton.
What?
Not European. Linda Hamilton.
Well, Linda Fiorentino isn't European, but anyway.
Well, the other one was
she pretended to be one in the movie, but then actually she was a CIA. Sorry, I just spoiled the movie for you.
What I was going to get at is it was definitely the dart style, the hard dart, where we were talking about where they they compress the spring.
Tag, she was the hero. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and in Gotcha, Anthony Edwards, the dude was the hero. Yep.
I don't know about that one. I have to look that one up still, but definitely in Tag, the assassination game, that one was suction cup dart gun, not paintball. So you were right.
Okay. I think I just got the two of them confused on it, because I definitely remember being a kid or a preteen or whatever age I happened to be about that time, that those two movies, like, if that's what college was about, college is going to be fantastic, and maybe I was in 4th or 5th grade kind of at the time with no real, working knowledge of the world and college and all that kind of stuff. And college was not really like that by the time I got there either, by the way.
No, it stopped being like that. But it looks like Gotcha, they were using paintball guns.
Okay.
Also the difference between the two. So that's the kind of knowledge, and that's not even the movie of the day. That's the kind of knowledge you get from this show, and you don't have to pay extra for that. That just happens. I feel like definitely address this, even though we didn't get into, we got into all of them technically. So we totally addressed this. So I don't even know if people want it.
What about a ping pong ball gun? If you remember those, one last one. You remember those where they shot the,
impact whale stupid thing?
Like literally, you can put 4 or 5 shots in there, and they're larger than a golf ball, but they're like ping pong ball style, where they're light or whatever.
Yeah, those are for babies, and I can't use for them. But I suspect they might be useful if you had some kind of a animal, like a funny dog or a hamster or something, where somehow.
Oh, the cat loved them, by the way.
Like we didn't have cats, so maybe that would be a useful purpose for that baby gun. But otherwise, that gun doesn't need to exist. Although at least they should be better, right? It should be way better because it was so fragile. I mean, everybody had one, I think, but they break by looking at them funny.
Yeah, and that, like I said, that was like almost the same kind of plastic as some of those early squirt guns, where like literally you look at it, you left it out in the sun, and it broke.
Like, what do you mean you put it down on the counter? Of course it's going to break. It's made out of the most brittle plastic ever made.
Ever.
Yeah, that was the problem with those things.
But that was the other reason you had. How many hundreds do you think in your childhood of those types of squirt guns do you think you ran through?
The ping pong guns? I know I only
no. I'm saying the squirt guns. Like, how many hundreds of squirt guns do you think you ran through as a kid?
No, I didn't really. I didn't like squirt guns that much. I definitely had a lot of the ones you were talking about, the clear plastic shells with plug in the back. I definitely had those, but I didn't like squirt guns as much. I liked really having regular stuff that shot funner stuff than stupid water.
I don't know. Squirt guns. See, and that was the thing about squirt guns. They were always tolerated.
You lived in a landlocked area of water. Like whatever they call the opposite of landlocked. You lived like dangling down in a peninsula.
Oh, we were surrounded by water. Yeah, we were on a peninsula, if you want to call it.
Aquatic water world like existence than I ever lived in.
Oh yeah.
So that's just the difference in our upbringings, I guess.
Well, here's the other thing: you could shoot somebody in the face with a water pistol.
Well, exactly, and then they don't even care. There's no consequences. So
no, there was no consequence. There was usually some laughing of some kind, you know.
So Tony's saying,
no, wait, did you see what Tony just put in there?
Yeah, that they would throw possums in the back of your truck. I guess that's.
Now that is a prank, dude. That right there.
Except I don't think it was a prank so much as like, here's dinner. Like, thank you.
Stranger. Oh, man, you ever seen a pissed off possum, dude? I mean,
dead possum.
Well, an angry one may attempt to mess you up.
Well, possum is just going to jump out of the back of a truck. It ain't going to.
Not always. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, now that we got some of the younger generation, they're out there talking about super soakers. Yeah, I mean, super soakers were definitely after my time as a child with that stuff. But same with like the Nerf stuff, like Nerf G-Webs. When you were a kid, Nerf meant one thing: a football.
Baby toys. Yeah, nobody had Nerf.
A football.
Nerf was like that, like a piece of PVC plastic, and it was like another piece of PVC plastic, like a slam fire gun, except it would shoot a Nerf wad out the end. Remember that thing? It would shoot like
like a marshmallow, a Nerf marshmallow almost.
Yeah, exactly. It was like the most pointless, cheap ass like thing to make, and that was the only thing I can remember being partially cool about Nerf, because all that stuff existed way after.
It just made a pop sound, yeah, pop.
Yeah, it was just like and then it would shoot a Nerf marshmallow basically at you.
Oh, I take it back. Nerf football, yes. Nerf boomerang was when I started to almost not be a kid. Like that was the new technology when I was just about not to be a kid anymore. Was the Nerf boomerang, which wasn't even a boomerang.
We're going off topic, but now you're talking about the thing that had 3 arms to it, and they were weighted, but that was Nerf in between of them, so that it wouldn't kill you.
Yep.
That thing was pretty damn cool, especially if you had a football field or something to throw it around in.
Yep.
I grew up where there was trees and shit, so you couldn't really have any fun with a boomerang unless you went to school, and that was no fun. So, let's see. So that's way off topic, though. And
we can close out the entertainment subject, because I definitely think we talked a lot about the entertainment of toy guns. I think we definitely covered the entertainment portion.
And I'm sure we'll talk about it again, perhaps in the future. Maybe somebody will come up with your specific.
And then somebody brings up rubber band guns. Jeez, yeah, we need to come back to toy guns one more time later at another point. There's definitely other toy guns to talk about.
Basically jump ship. A lot of people were saying in cowardice because he didn't want to do the daily pop quiz. So we don't know. We just know he left us high and dry. Did he even leave us like a question or anything?
Yeah, anytime you want to do some sound effects, let me know.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to pick up the slack, and we'll continue on. So that was the
Sally Forth, man.
Yeah, we're willing to do that. So that was the entertainment segment of the show. We will jump into. I think I'm going to do GunShop of the day.
Okay.
Let's see. Today we are looking at
Shooters Depot and Range.
It's in. Let me see how many pictures I have. Yeah, I can screen share this. It is one of the shops that we visited on our tour in 2012. So I'm dropping links now for anybody who wants to take a look at it. I see Smeggy's out there if you want to jump in. Let us know. We'll throw you a link. You could play the role of Bob or Dano today if you felt like it.
Dealer's choice, Smeggy.
So we're looking at Shooters Depot and Range. This was in Georgia, and this was just after, pretty sure this is the one I'm thinking of. This was just after we hung out with Artisan Tony in Chattanooga, and then he drove us down to, well, it's the Fuller Firearms Museum, but I forget what the name of the place is. It's like Chickamauga or something, Battlefield, and we had checked out that place and then headed out towards Atlanta, Georgia, and this was a shop that we saw along the way, and that was sort of the point of that trip, was to meander and check out shops along the way. And you can see from I'm screen sharing here, you can see that it's pretty much a large metal building on a highway, so alongside of like contractors and lumber places and places that do stonework and stuff, so it's kind of that kind of area. And then it's a shop and a range. So a couple of pictures of the shop, you can see some of the variety of stuff they had and the quantity. It wasn't the most largest shop I've ever been in, but they definitely had a selection. And then a lot of this stuff I think was rentals as well. Some of the stuff was full auto.
And this is in the state of Tennessee, or this is in Georgia now?
Pretty sure it was in Georgia. It was right on the border, but I'm pretty sure it was on Georgia side.
Oh, is that a range too?
Yeah, Georgia. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So it's a range down basically this whole side of the building. This whole front of the building is this gun shop that we're seeing pictures of. I suspect this corner of the building was their like classroom or something, or back room storage or something. And a large building, but they weren't using the whole thing. The front part of it was really just the shop. And again, you can see probably less than 100 guns, long guns for sure, maybe even less than 100 altogether. And some of these were rentals, so I don't know if they were all for sale. But I don't have any clue how populated that area is either. I just know that it was on the side of the road as we were driving down.
I think Tony's letting us say it's Chattanooga, which would be Tennessee.
Chattanooga.
Unless he's referring to the Chickamauga National Battlefield. I'm just trying to follow the YouTube chat out there, and I may be missing.
Well, the address I have here is Battlefield Parkway, Ringgold, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
It was after we ate breakfast, and we were headed south down that highway. And I'm pretty sure we were already in Georgia by then. Or it was right on the border. We might have just been crossing the border. Anyway, so this is quite a ways away from Atlanta or whatever, but it's definitely closer to Tennessee. Anyway, another shop that we're visiting again. Well, we're revisiting as a featured shop on the gun shop of the day. Again, we do the show every day. One of the reasons we do it every day is so that we can feature a gun shop every day. This week, we're featuring shops that we visited in 2012. One of the reasons we're doing that is because nobody's been suggesting shops. I know a lot of people have told us that they've got some shops in mind or that they've taken pictures and they're in the midst of sending us those pictures or posting them and sending us links. But until then, I figured by showing some of these shops that we've showed before, that we featured before, we might get people to check them out currently, see what they look like now, or give us some feedback like Tony's given us because they know about them, they're in their area. So that's the reason we're looking at some of these, or looking back at some of these. And going forward, I think I mentioned before, I've got a bid on another van. Right now, I'm still currently the high bidder, but it has had a little action, so it's going up, creeping up onto my high bid. And so I do want to, I forgot to mention yesterday, but I do want to put a plea out there for everybody who is of the type to send good wishes, send good auction wishes to stifle other people from bidding against my high bid right now. So that being done, or assuming I can get that van, we'll be back on the road. And that's part of the goal of this show in the first place, was to get out and check out new gun shops every single day. When I'm cooking with gas like that, I can hit more than one shop a day usually. Sometimes I can hit multiple, like 8 shops in a day. So it should be definitely an attainable goal to have a new gun shop review every single day once we're mobile again. So looking forward to do that. But until then, we are looking for suggestions for anybody that wants to recommend a gun shop in your area. Remember, every time you go into your shop, you probably got your phone in your pocket. That phone has a really nice camera on it. Remember, you can ask them if it's okay to take a couple of pictures to share with the internet. Almost always, very few times, like just 3 or 4 times ever, has a shop said no, or even asked me why I wanted to take pictures. They're usually quite happy to have someone care enough about how cool their shop is to want to share it. And there's almost no concern anymore with people, as far as you're sharing their pictures online. They understand what the concept is. So we encourage you to do that. Take some pictures, whatever is unique about your shop or makes it interesting. Share those on your own YouTube or on your own podcast or on your own blog post, maybe Instagram or Facebook or something. Send us links to that. Or if that's too much trouble, just send us the pictures and we'll help share them. That's really part of the goal of this show, is to keep the culture and the community thriving and the interest up in not just whatever's brand new, but all the stuff that's out there.
And you can send that to dailygunshow@gmail.com.
That's right. All right. With all that said, I think we can, I'm going to do the healthy tip, an unprecedented healthy tip out of nowhere, middle of the show, even though it's like usually way at the end of the show.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Or we could talk about windbreakers.
What? Windbreakers and socks? Better seek cover.
What's happening? We don't have Daniel's song to play, but
gun channels and YouTube, you better seek cover. Better seek cover. Concealment maybe, but I'd always suggest cover over concealment.
It's happening in your mind. He planted that damn song, so you're all singing it in your mind right now.
Yeah.
But you can blame Dano.
Yeah, we are not playing that song, by the way.
We're not. It's just happening in your mind right now because of what Dano has done to you.
He's warped your fragile little minds. So yes, this is the Daily Gun Show Tactical Pop Quiz, folks. So if you are on YouTube, get ready. If you are on gun channels, get ready. You better have already stretched your Google foo muscles, because here we go. Are you ready? G, you ready? I mean, I can see both of them, and I know what the answer is. So,
yeah.
But here we go. In the greatest movie of all time, in 1984, some people called it Red Dawn. What is the name of the person that is killed first outside of the high school?
(2008) is not the answer.
Yeah, since we did specify the 1984 movie, Mr. Morris is incorrect.
Mr. Morris is not correct. How many, if your dog has stood in the area that is in question, raise your hand.
And Smeggy is close when he says that one guy. Robbie is close when he says teacher.
Could you be more specific? And
now Buzz Bombs with the no idea. Come on, folks. Come on, folks. Mr. Mitchell, we believe to be incorrect.
I totally know the answer, but I figured since I joined, I wouldn't answer.
Well, that's awfully nice of you. Okay, so just for, again, the question is, in the greatest movie of all time, in 1984, the movie Red Dawn, what is the name of the person that is killed first outside the high school?
Now, this would be the first person to die in the first movie that was rated PG-13.
Okay, there you go. Mr. Belding is incorrect. Mr. Bill is incorrect, but I do like the guesses. And again, I think Mr. Morrison, Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Teasdale is close, man. And I think Dano may have put it in wrong. Can you see the answer, G-Webs?
I can see what Dano typed in there, but I'm
yes.
And figure this out for real here, because this is not one that I have memorized the name of.
Are you efforting right now? Because we'll remember who said Teasdale first.
I'm about 3/4 efforted.
Okay, good. Because I'll keep an eye just in case somebody else.
So the actual name of the actor Frank McRae portrayed was Mr. Teasdale, not as Dano has put it, Mr. Cheesedale.
Yes, he put actually in there Mr. Cheesedale. And I thought that it was a joke, but that's okay.
Fucking with us.
That's why he ducked out. Okay, so now you know what? Here's the deal.
You knew we were going to fall right into this.
All right, so we got a quiz off between Raphael and Scars187 on YouTube. So we are going to have a sudden death between Raphael on Gun Channels and Scars187 on YouTube. Now, G-Webs, I'm going to assume you know the answer to this question when I ask it, because otherwise I got to look it up. So are you ready?
Oh, I'm either. I think so.
It's about a firearm that was in that movie. Do you think you got all of those covered, perhaps?
Potentially.
Okay, so here's the deal. What gun did they shoot Mr. Teasdale with?
Dun, dun,
Between Scars187 and Raphael. And G-Webs, do you think you know the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, of course. Okay, I figured.
Come on.
Well, I think I know what it is, but I'm not 100% on that. So, again, Scars and Raphael. What did Mr. Teasdale get shot with? Raphael guesses AK-47. I believe that is incorrect.
I would say about the size of Rhode Island.
Nice, here it is. Way off course.
Beast, men, even bugs.
You keep guessing Scars if you want. And
I mean, what kind of clothes in?
or I mean, Raphael, you can keep guessing. And Scars, let's see an answer. Oh, Mahdi, he says.
When the Mongols could see each other, they had. Oh, no.
This is very irregular, but
kill all the bugs.
There you go. And what is that? Oh, you got to back it up, man. That was too quick.
Come on. Come on.
Because it's not a Mahdi.
Oh, well, it is a Mahdi, but.
Oh, wait. Is that what we're accepting as a Mahdi? Because we got one that says an AK-47 and one that says a Mahdi, and I personally thought it was an RPK or whatever.
Yeah, it's an RPK. Now the question is it a Valmet RPK?
It is probably a Valmet RPK because they didn't have the actual access to a real one.
That is the Valmet RPK right there.
Nice. And Scars did guess RPK after he guessed Mahdi. Raphael guessed AK-47, but that was not the answer we were looking for. So I'm inclined to give it to Scars. Do I have a second on that, G?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then Scars187, congratulations.
When I put a mag dump through this same RPK, I was not shooting it at that school, but I have been at that school, standing right in that same spot.
But not with an RPK,
not
correct?
With that RPK. Different RPK.
All right,
But
excellent.
You shot that RPK is what you're saying.
I have shot that RPK. Yes.
It had Swayze sweat all over it. He could hardly contain himself.
I was able
So back to anyway, Scars 187 on YouTube. You are the tactical pop quiz hot shot for Hump Day. Good job, bro. Way to make it happen. Congratulations. And to be applauded, Raphael. Good job, dude. Way to hang in there.
That was on the YouTube side, you said?
That was on the YouTube side. As Tony puts it, again. So, Scars, I think you've won before, so you probably know how this works. You just want to go over to the dailygunshow.com pop quiz. Pick you out a patch. Pick out a second and third choice just in case. And you know what? We always do appreciate that if you're on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, that if you do end up getting your patch, feel free to post it and hashtag us. We always like to see how far our reach will, how far everything reaches out and goes. So that's just something to keep in mind. You can tell them you want it on the Daily Gun Show, if you want to. You can always send them over to gunchannels.com. We always appreciate any of that kind of stuff. So again, thank you for playing.
All right, so finally we can start talking about windbreakers. We got Smeggy in here. We can talk about what's the best type of windbreaker.
I'll tell you what, I needed a windbreaker today. I was up on the roof all day. I'm already getting sick, and that did not help. It was cold as hell today.
Chuck Norris don't wear no windbreaker. Lee Marvin don't wear no windbreaker. They do wear those special, Delta Force socks, though, which I kind of think I want a pair of them Delta Force socks.
All right, well, we all know that music. And so this is time for the actual tactical.
Oh, dang it. I forgot it was Wednesday. I don't want to be in the show. I want to win the quiz.
So today we're going to do another version of the tactical quiz that will be open for everyone listening as a podcast. It'll be in an email, so go ahead and spoil it if you want by dropping the answers out in the live chat, but we don't recommend it. Instead,
because then you're just hurting your chances.
Yeah, you may want to open up an email. You want to put the subject, you want to address it to dailygunshow@gmail.com, and we'll give everybody a chance to do that. Once you've addressed it, you want to put in the subject line, tactical quiz, February 8th. Or you can put in 2-8. We'll take either one.
Yep.
Oh, I had no idea. It turns all jazzy at 127. Look at this.
Well, that was because it was the 80s, man. You had to have the keyboard solo.
I'm going to go get my leg warmers. All right, so...
You're a maniac, I know for sure.
So I'm going to get my bucket of water and a rope ready, and then we will... have an audio version of the tactical quiz. So
one last thing about that, Jennifer Beals is still hot, by the way. Sorry, continue.
Come on. So we're going to have an audio version of the tactical quiz. There's going to be 4 clues, and you're going to have to pick the name of the song and the artist. And hopefully I queued them up so that they don't actually just tell you the name of the song right away. But that could happen, so there might be some freebies in here. So Maggie, you can feel free to participate if you want, because there's nothing that's going to give you any insight as to what the answers might be, other than your knowledge of awesome songs.
However, if we see the answer in the chat, let's remember that it is the podcast person. So if we say the answer, we spoil it for them. So just saying.
All right. So with that, we're going to have the number 1 is... Oh. I guess I should have named. Okay, so we're going to call this one number 1. Hopefully everybody can hear it.
And the sound of the battle rang through the streets of the old east side till the last of the hoodlum gang had surrendered up or died. They were shouting in the street and the sound of running feet. And I asked someone who said, about 100 cups a day, I heard.
All right, so that one is the first one. Did everybody hear that one okay?
Wow. And wow and stuff. Wow.
That sounds like a good song. I have no idea what it is, but that sounds like a good song.
All right, so hopefully we're going to see if, just give us a yes or no if you guys are hearing it okay. And then we'll...
Oh, it's plenty loud, dude, by the way.
So this one is number 2.
She likes to shoot a shot, shooting at a dog in the love. She likes to blow the chamber up and tight like a back on the drum. She's a little sweet, but she'll take you in. You might be sitting at the end of a fire again.
That was number 2.
Some of the older, gentler people in the chat, I don't know if they're octogenarians or whatnot, they may be alluding to the fact that it might be a little loud, but then again, they could turn their volume down.
They could always turn their volume down. So now we will get into, I'm going to go with this one for number 3.
Cause if you run up and try to play mine, I'd rather have an AK than a fucking K9. Cause if you shot your gun and my dog tried to fetch her, me and the dog's going out on a stretcher. And I ain't with that, so I gotta get that big black cat. Hey man, I hit that, forget about a dog, fool. He'll shit in the den nowadays. A cat is man's best friend.
Hopefully that one came in cool for everybody.
And now, just to double check, G, you don't actually want the name of the artist. You are looking for the song title, correct?
Yeah, well, let's go with song titles because I guess it's possible that multiple artists might have sung these. But if you want to throw the artist in there because you know it, feel free. And then we have one more.
And you can do that in addition to. But what we are looking for, the answer is basically the name of the song.
That's right. And then this will be the number 4, the 4th one.
Hard our guns and the British kept coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run it on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. We looked down a river and we seen the British come, and there must have been 100 of them beating on the drum. They stepped so high and they made the bugles ring. We stood beside our cotton bales.
All right, so that was the 4th one. Hopefully that worked out all right, and that was the audio tactical.
Oh, and that is my favorite one of all 4, by the way. I was singing along, by the way. I'm glad I was muted.
Man, that's a wide range of music there. You gotta know a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you must be well versed, and that's why this isn't Spec Ops, man. This is Delta. That's why he plays that theme music, dude. This isn't just your daily pop quiz, man.
We ain't giving you nothing here. You got to earn it. All right, so then that will be the tactical quiz this week. And like I say, we're going to take the answers via email so that the people that are listening to the podcast can participate as well. Try to do that more often in the future. So we'll probably look for the answers by this Friday. So I think that's the 10th. And potentially we will talk about, should we do it? We'll figure out if we're going to do the answers on Friday or maybe Monday. If you're listening to the show, I don't think it should matter either way. We'll just see how many answers we've got by Friday, and if there's not a bunch of them, then we'll maybe move it over to Monday.
Did the poll ever recover?
I haven't looked at the polls in a while, so I'm not sure to answer that question.
Well, I know that it got all messed up when the update happened, so I just wasn't sure. And I just wanted to allay the audience's fears that you haven't missed a poll. We just haven't put one out lately, all right? So don't panic. You haven't missed it.
There's no poll denying happening here.
Exactly.
All right, so with that,
let's check out this great movie, according to Dano. All
right, so every day we try to feature a movie, a gun-related movie, ideally, one that you might not have seen in a while, or if you're a youngin', probably a movie you haven't seen yet. And today the movie is called The Untouchables.
What?
So I've been trying to look ahead at what movies are coming up and watch these movies again. So I've just watched this one recently, last week or something.
To me, is that the one?
This movie still holds up.
Is that like the mobsters and the people
in Chicago
and stuff?
Robert De Niro, Kevin Costner, Sean Connery.
It's Al Capone. It's not the gangsters. It's Al Capone.
Well, those are gangsters, but
no, but I mean it's specifically about Elliot Ness and taking down.
Yes.
Al Capone. So I mean it's about that story, that dynamic, not just gangsters.
Right. Correct. And that's where you learn about the Chicago. That's where you learn about exactly. Grand, good job. That's exactly what I was going to allude to. That's where you learn about the Chicago way.
So, yeah, I've seen that movie. I thought it was pretty good. I think I've only seen it once a while ago, but I remember it keeping my interest.
Oh, dude, I saw that one in the movie. Of course, I'm probably a little bit older and crustier, I'm sure.
Well, you saw it when it happened, so
Well, no, that was Dano. Dano was there, or Bob was there. Excuse me, Bob was there when it happened. He may have been a witness to it, but I did see the movie when it came out in the movie theaters.
Bob was pushing them barrels of whiskey into the border.
Over at the bridge, yeah. Oh, yeah. Could I ever believe that, dude? I could totally believe that. Great movie though, man. Lots of great actors. I couldn't even tell you how many Oscars this thing probably won. Now I said great actors. I guess I should almost reconsider that statement, considering how some of these people have turned in their older age. But great movie, 2 thumbs up. Excellent Al Capone, Elliot Ness movie. I don't know if I want to call it necessarily historically accurate. I'm sure some parts are. I'm sure some parts are not. But it was just good. Like I guess my favorite guy was what's what was the young guy's real name that shot the guy after catching the baby carriage? He's got an Italian name that I feel terrible for not being able to think of it right now.
The young guy who's like straight out of the academy.
Yep. Andy Garcia. Thank you. My bad.
I thought his name was Poco Ghibli.
No, it was not Poco Ghibli. But if you would like to pick up any Poco Ghibli merchandise, I think you just head over to, where is it again? It's over to Spreadshirt for the Gear website. Spreadshirt.
That's true.
Yes, for all of your Poco Ghibli needs. And yes, I fall back if we're talking about this movie. I can understand why Dano really liked it because he's an Illinois boy. Yep. And this definitely all takes place in Illinois, or the most of it takes place in Illinois, I should say. There are a few parts of the movie where it's not necessarily Illinois.
Suggesting that Dano was the little baby in that carriage? Is that what you're saying?
Oh my goodness!
Did we just blow your mind there?
Mind blown, dude.
I'm just saying it all adds up. If you do the math, do the geography, it all lines up. It's science.
Why Dano had the cop mustache for a good portion of his life. I mean, it all just falls into place like a cosmic jigsaw puzzle that just the last.
Why he ducked out of here and left us with a fiasco at the daily quiz like that because he just couldn't handle being here for when we're talking about the story of his baby dropping down the stairs.
Yep.
So if you think about it, I've never seen him go down a subway tunnel into a subway before. He might be scarred for life with that.
Could be. Well, technically, they should have an elevated train, but that's beside the point. Man, that's entirely possible, dude. I mean, literally, that's entirely possible. Wow.
Speaking of Canadian.
What? Bootlegger Bob. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I'm just got a new mic.
And he's on Dano's internet connection, I guess.
Okay. Did the microphone come out of the other end of that dog yet? Because it does not sound like it.
Yeah, I know. I bought a cheap one.
We hear you talking, I guess, but it's more than muted. It's almost like you have a mute on or something like that.
You know what, G? He's actually talking to the dog's belly right now because that's where the microphone is.
We can hear you laughing, so there's some amount of volume, but it does sound like maybe there's a mute on the mic cord or something that's still on. But anyway, thanks for jumping in, Bob.
Good to see you, pal.
All right, so I'm giving 2 thumbs up. I really like
absolutely.
It's basically about Elliot Ness and having to take down Al Capone. He was tasked with taking down Al Capone. He was FBI, so sent in by what's his face, and then the Chicago
He
cops.
wasn't even LA. He wasn't even FBI. He was a revenuer.
So it was before they were FBI, you mean?
I don't know that it was before FBI, but it was for the Internal Revenue Service or whatever. Or
No. That's how they got Al Capone, but
but a revenuer is one that would like the taxation for the alcohol and stuff like that.
No, but that's not what he was. He was a federal officer or whatever. He was
right. He was a G-man, but that's what they used to call him, was a revenuer, and they were the ones that always went to bust the moonshine stills and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know, because all I know is maybe you mean like for the tax on alcohol end of it, but not for the accounting end of it, because they kept showing how resistant he was to that method of pursuing him criminally, pursuing Al Capone criminally, and that they only did it as a last resort when they couldn't go after him like the old-fashioned.
Right. Correct.
But it was about how resilient the Chicago cops were, and then he finds a few cops that he can trust, and then goes after Al Capone kind of, down and dirty, and then Al Capone lashes back violently, and then the end is, everybody knows the end. But yeah, I think it was a pretty neat one. It was written in the 80s or made in the 80s, 90s.
Oh yeah, dude, I will still watch this movie, by the way, and I know all of the twists and turns, but it's one of those ones that I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I own it on DVD still, but if it is on the TV, it will, especially if it's on like Turner Classic Movies where there's no commercial breaks and it's unedited, I might actually sit down and watch potentially wherever it's at.
For me, it's maybe 5 years or something. If I've seen it, I don't need to see it again for a while, but as soon as I can't remember it, I do appreciate watching it again. But it's for me, it's not that special that I watch it all the time. I see it every time, but it is pretty good. And for the most part, there's enough pieces of it that are good that even if you're only watching see it in passing or something, it's worth.
Yep.
Leaving already. So
yeah, definitely worth watching. Please watch it. Yes.
You've seen it, Smeggy, or no?
Yeah, I've seen it. I'll give it a couple of thumbs. Just like everyone should give the Daily Gun Show a couple of thumbs on the YouTube.
Yes. As a matter of fact, he's right. They should.
Bob, you want to give it another try? What did you think of this movie? Did you see it?
Yeah, the Elliot Ness catching Al Capone. 2 hard thumbs up.
I heard 2 hard thumbs up, I think.
I don't want to hear what he said to clarify that, but I think he said thumbs up. Something about something being up. All right, so we faked I guess that was the gun movie of the day then, so we'll move on. Yep. We faked a healthy tip earlier. We didn't really do one, I don't think, but again, keeping in mind that the most important part of the gun is the part that pulls the trigger. Try to do a healthy tip every day. And today's is what did I write here? How do you feed your pets? And I think the idea there was I was listening to something along the way as I was trying to get healthy and come up with ways to, strategies to be healthy and eat healthy. Somebody brought up, what do you feed your pets? And most of us go out of our way to make sure that we're feeding our pets good food and, the best that we can find or that we can afford. And why not do the same to yourself? So, when you're making your purchases or whatever, I guess think maybe less about the pennies and more about the
Treasury Department.
Oh, is that who they work for?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Sorry.
That interruption actually worked pretty good. Don't think about the pennies, just think about the Treasury Department.
We talked about that yesterday. It sounds like the people at the ATF try to target 5,000 calories a day, right?
I think they do, yeah.
5 to 7,000 calories a day. They're fat people.
Well, again, Michael Phelps is a 7,000 calorie a day dude, and he ain't fat. But anyway, so it's the same thing with your pet, then, right? Isn't that kind of what you're getting at here? Is how do you feed your pets? Do you feed your pets the cheap stuff? Do you feed them the good stuff? Do you only ever feed them kibble? Do you never feed them wet food? Do you feed them people food? I mean, there's arguments for and against all over the board on a couple of those subjects.
But I guess for the healthy tip, though, that was the reference and the concept. I guess the thought the challenge or the question would be, you pay a lot. Most of us pay a lot of attention to what we feed our pets. Do we pay that much attention to what we're feeding ourselves? A lot of what we do is out of habit.
Oh, I got you.
And if you think about what you're feeding yourself as the way that you would as a conscientious pet owner, like, you're an owner of your own system, your own body, your own machine. So if you feed yourself through tradition and habit, is that really the best stuff, the best fuel for that machine?
Do you see we got a little feedback from some of our audience out there, G? Do you see what Chris just put down? I think that's to be commended, dude. That's awesome.
Oh, okay. On the Gun Channel site, he's saying that he's been riding his bike on the trainer every day while listening to the show. So that's a great way to think about it. Yeah, I definitely like listening to podcasts for that reason. You can be out and doing stuff and not really, for the most part, you're not need to look at a screen for anything. But I'm going to throw that in as a healthy tip for the future. Excellent.
And yes, thanks for that, Chris. And thanks again for everybody listening to Daily Gun Show. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, I've got a lot of viewers again listening live. We do have the new time slot, and it's over on the new channel, so we do appreciate everybody that found us and that sticks around listening to the show. We would ask that you recommend it to people that you think might be interested in the show. We do want to grow, and having more listeners is a part of that. And obviously, more listeners means more chatter. We're definitely getting a lot of chatter on both the YouTube side and the Gun Channel side, so we really do appreciate it.
Like, share, and subscribe. We always appreciate it.
So with that said, going back up to the top, let's see, we did CCW. It's weird without down here to put these little lines and everything. So we did entertainment, we did tactical quiz, did the pop quiz. Did we do the GunShop? I think we did.
Yes. Yep.
Looks like we got something in the email here. What does this say?
It's the thanks one.
Thank you to people sending us some emails. We'll add that stuff to the future shows. And if you want to contribute or participate in the scheduling of the future shows, we'll be getting together, I think, this Saturday. If I can I don't think we've got a good answer from Dano yet, but we're going to probably get together on Saturday sometime and schedule out the rest of February and March, if possible, with show segments and whatnot. And we open that up to our Patreon supporters. So anybody on Patreon that would like to join us in that show, we encourage you to do so. And that way we're getting, or we're creating the show in the direction that our listeners want it to. So with that, want to do the gun of the day?
Yeah. I just also wanted to congratulate 45 ACP, man. He says 962 miles on the bike since Christmas, down 31 pounds, dude.
What?
That's awesome.
Miles since Christmas.
Yeah, that's. I'm about to swear, so I'm gonna try and not swear. That is awesome, dude.
We already swear it already in the show. We ruined it.
Well, yeah, as I will.
Today we're talking about Thompson and sawed-off Rossi Overland. I don't know where that came from. Who brought this?
I have no clue what that is.
So somehow I typed it in here and it turns into an actual gun. So Thompson and sawed-off Rossi.
Dude, it's our dart gun.
Yeah. For one thing, I don't know how the hell that happened, but yeah, pretty cool. So it's somehow a little sawed-off. I'd call it a.
And see, that's the way mine was, with the way that pistol grip is there on that one. Like that's literally it, dude. That's awesome. So obviously it was a double-barreled shotgun made by Thompson at one point and then copied by Rossi, I guess.
This "and" is what's throwing me off. Yeah. So Thompson and Rossi Overland, perhaps, but whatever. We're talking about a little shotgun, and yeah, they're super cool. You ever shot one like this? A real one?
No, man. I never had access to sawed-off shotguns.
They're pretty fun. They kick a little bit, but nowhere near as bad as everybody. Movies always try to make it more exaggerated than it ever is, but they do kick a bit. They're not anywhere near as ineffective as you'd think either. It's surprising, even with a little short barrel like this. Even shot, like just cheap stuff, 7-shot, 8-shot, cheap stuff for birds that you just go out and shoot. We've shot stuff and easily been able to shoot skeet with them. I mean, or trap, I guess.
Really?
Plays up. Yeah, it's really easy to shoot with them. People are always surprised by that, but they're They always get a bad rap for having a bad spread, but they're pretty cool. I think they're super effective. I can't wait for SPSs to be off the registry, because something like this in 12 is kind of pointless, but in a 20 or a 410, this is like a grandma gun for me. I mean, I think of this as like what a little
410, man, that'd be like a pepper box almost, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. They could make them so light and usable that I think it'd be pretty cool. And it's the concept from that video you posted. I think you posted, or somebody posted recently on Gun Channel's main page, with I think it's Clint talking about overspray or whatever, and he's talking about the advantage of a revolver up close versus a pistol, which can go out of battery. So with contact distance. So with something, if somebody's even holding on to it and trying to disarm you, you still have, no, and just the intimidation factor is like, okay, sorry, Grandma, you are right. I should go home.
Yes, I should be leaving now. Oh, you mean I don't get to leave now? Okay.
That might not be the best piece of gun, but I definitely like the idea of the SPSs and getting off the registry and seeing more stuff like that, because they are fun little guns.
I'd agree. You know what? And not having fired one, I've always thought those were cool. And I'm gonna blame Mad Max for it. He's made me want one since the Road Warrior. I mean, it's just one of those things that, whether it's a thigh rig or anything, it's like one of those I've pretty much wanted. And then I see videos now where people, let's say, without either common sense or a certain level of training, where all of a sudden they're trying to do it, and they're the shotguns rearing back and hit them in the face and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I just don't see it being done like that. But whatever. I definitely think that would be very interesting. And like you said, a 20 gauge, 28 gauge, 410. I definitely think it could be real interesting. In my opinion.
All right, I'm distracted because I've been reading the chat too. So yeah, that's pretty sweet that Ohio says he's done 962 miles on the bike since Christmas. Do you think that's an exercise bike or like going out and bicycling around?
Well, he lives in Ohio, so I'm gonna say exercise bike.
Okay, but that's pretty neat. And then Dead Horse is saying that his healthy tip is, did you already say this one? To use Diet Coke to color his Long Island iced tea instead of regular.
Instead of regular, yes. I did not say that, but that's a borderline healthy tip, because Diet Coke arguably is actually worse for you chemically than an actual Coke.
Yeah, you'd want to eat Mexican Coke for that, where it's got real sugar.
There you go. It's got real sugar, yes. Exactly.
Wait,
cane sugar.
Artificial sweetener that was discovered because the scientist was working on some what was it, like some type of like gasoline refinement, and he ate a sandwich for lunch and it was sweet, and he realized the chemical he was using is what made it sweet.
What are you talking about? What chemical is that?
That's how they invented like that artificial sweetener that's in like Diet Coke and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, it doesn't even surprise me, dude. That, and I remember that from the first Gulf War that they had to store Diet Coke different because the heat from when it was over at Desert Storm and stored improperly changed it like almost to formaldehyde, or with the heat change. Almost turned it basically into poison after a certain temperature was reached for a certain time. And I believe that they've changed the formula enough now to change that. But yes, we're talking about Diet Coke. So
I thought that would happen here too. I mean, we get just as hot. I know some places in Texas and should get just as hot as back over there.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, maybe we don't, but I know places that do here in the United States. But anyway. All right. So I don't know how we even got over to that. Is that from?
Well, that was just, we were just
gun of the day. So yes. We do have guns of the day coming up, but anybody again is welcome to suggest what am I trying to say? Guns of the day, and you can do that via email with dailygunshow@gmail.com, or join up with us on Saturday when we do the planning or the scheduling.
Okay, I got one. Apparently today is a death day for all you moist ones out there.
What?
So this is the day that on February 8th, 1902, that Mosin died. So
yeah, Sergei Ivanovich Mosin died today in 1902. God rest his soul.
So we like to mention stuff like that so that people can think about that.
And he would have been rolling in his grave when he found out that hipsters tried to, what do you call it? Not acquiesce, when they try and take something over. You know what I'm saying? Like culturally appropriate or whatever they call it. He would have turned over in his grave when it became a hipster badge of honor.
Or would he not have? Because hipsters are basically communists, and he's a communist.
Ooh. Wow. Thought-provoking. Very good. Very good.
Right,
Did we also have what was the other also on this day?
So we also have, it looks like on this day, Americans, I suspect Marines, secured Guadalcanal.
Word.
So I was just going to look at that because I know that just the other day we had the anniversary of the first and second, what do they call themselves, of the Marines. And they said that was because of they both were created at Guadalcanal. So I'm wondering if that means that span of time is how long it took for those sons of bitches to take that island.
Well, anytime I've ever studied history about World War II and Guadalcanal in particular, that and like Coral Sea or whatever was some of the most bloodiest gore, death of kind of the war almost. Like it was just full on beyond brutal pretty much.
Yeah, I wish Bob was in here because he could tell us more about it. But I was going to say, I know that...
Well, he would have told us that the Canadians actually were the ones that secured Guadalcanal, and I would have had to figure out a way to internet throat punch him somehow, so...
Well, he doesn't always hijack it to Canadians, but he usually...
Come on now, G. Come on. On this one, you know he would.
Well, I don't think the Canadians were there, but all I'm saying is I know that it was an ordeal for those guys, and I suspect it might have been as long as the span has been since we talked about their anniversary the other day. So imagine all those days that we were sitting around worrying about what we're going to eat and like what's on TV and what live shows coming up, and if something came in the mail, those motherfuckers were fighting Japanese freaking in sand, waiting if they're going to get supplies and
bloody by the inch, dude. Yeah, by the inch.
We're not good at remembering history, and we're definitely not historians. That's kind of Bob's role with the show. But we are curious. So if anybody would like to hear more about that stuff, we'd be, definitely interested in adding more of those aspects to the show. So give us some feedback. We recently posted up on our Patreon I think it's just for our Patreon. So sorry if it's offending people that aren't our Patreons. But we did put up a poll to see what your favorite segment of the show is. Right now, we've got people that have voted for the CCW segment, for the Second Amendment issues, and for the training segment. But we've only got a few votes. So anybody that's a Patreon supporter, we encourage you to pay attention over there. We do try to use that as a way to talk to you guys and gals directly. And we are looking for feedback. Like I say, we'd like to build the show in the direction that people who are supporting the show are interested in seeing it grow. And I know that Bob's chomping at the bit to add more history to it, and I'm thinking that we might do some kind of collaboration with one of these other channels that focus on history, and we know they're putting out a lot of content, so we could just as easily bring in some of that kind of stuff if people are interested. But on the other hand, we don't want to put stuff in here that bores you or is totally disinterested, so give us some feedback.
Yes, that'd be much appreciated.
With that,
and let's do gun channels today, because I think we're about to that phase of the show, correct?
We are.
All right, so today is Wednesday. And as far as I know, it's Matt holding it down from the dawn of time, basically. And this is not necessarily the geek-related chat. This is usually guns and politics on Wednesday, so it can get a little serious in there. But that literally should be on within the next couple of minutes, I think.
No, he does it later.
It's later? Okay. Well, I know he was talking about he was wanting to talk about it doing earlier.
I think it was going to be in like a half hour from now. He was talking about doing it like at the midway point.
Excellent. That's good to know, actually.
And is the second show of We Like Shooting on tonight, or is that on Thursdays? Because they started doing 2 shows a week now.
I thought it was like Friday the other week. I'm not sure if they.
Yeah, that second show rotates, whether it's because of the guest or something like that. It used to be on Wednesdays in general, and then they moved it to Monday. So I am not 100% on that. But other than that, I only know about Matt. And of course, there's always early watch tomorrow with Jimmy, who's down there working hard, trying to make it happen, putting on a great show.
6 hours every single weekday. It's amazing.
Now, shouldn't we give a shout out to Mr. Ponery did one? And there's definitely been a few Gun Channels members out there trying to pick up some of the slack from the power vacuum created by the Daily Gun Show moving. I would just like to say thank you to everybody that puts the effort out there to try and fill some time for us like that. It's much, much appreciated, including the illustrious Smeggy. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm kind of getting squeezed out of it now. I was actually just thinking about that the other day, but I'll put one up when it needs to be.
There you go, man.
Sean's really been covering that afternoon slot, so
nice. Yeah, I've definitely seen a couple, and he's out there saying, "I do what I can for lobbies when possible." That's being a team player. That's just like what Smegs was just saying right there. So we definitely appreciate everybody putting the effort forward. And of course, I know that the other Gun Channels member appreciate the effort that you guys do. It's not just us.
So with that in mind, I guess I was going to put out there, I don't know what you guys' time is like, but we could just go for a bit, go off schedule or off topics. We're done with topics for the day, but since we got about a half an hour before Matt starts, we could just extend it a bit, unless everybody's sick of having us talk, and then we can keep it right around an hour, right?
Well, what are we going to talk about?
Or has it been an hour, or are we at 2 hours?
Oh, dude, we're almost at 2.
Oh, I guess we are. So yeah, if we're going too long, then let us know. But otherwise, if you guys are down, we could just keep going, I guess.
Let's see. I got a no snap. I got a.
We don't play by the rules.
Right.
So I guess what we'll do is flip over to a screen capture, and I'll jump over to the Instagrams, which is of the big fan of, and we can zip through some photos. I guess we'll throw a couple of our photos up there first. Just posted this one up using that Prisma app, where you can go in there and basically fiddle with the image. So it's
it goes from a picture to a drawing, yeah?
Kind of a cartoon. There's all kinds of ways to fiddle with it. So I just was playing around and I posted that one. This is one that Marco's cousin took, and we keep pushing that one. I think it's a great picture. I think it really summarizes Gun Channels, at least the way I'd like to see Gun Channels, just being a cool place to hang out. And then we got this one with a cool Glock 24 and a cool Glock 17L, which are next to each other right there. Can you tell which one's which?
What was the question?
Which one's the 24 and which one's the 17L? One of them's a real caliber and one of them is a wannabe.
Well, I was just going to say the one on the left.
Yep, you can tell by the size of the mag. So this has enough bullets at 22, where this one needs to compensate with 30 something.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Then we got a bunch of nunchucks, and I asked the question if you like your silent cord or your speed chuck.
Well, my theory is that cord can technically break easier than the chain.
So you're encountering a lot of sword type of interaction where you want.
Hey man, am I using a real deal Holyfield? Then yeah, I want the chain. No lie.
I can hear that. So the cords are definitely quieter, but the real answer was both. So
yeah, nice.
Then there's another mention of the universal background check is being pushed on New Mexico, being forced up in New Mexico, and we got a message here from BMC that it was changed to Friday. So the fight continues. They're continuing to yank everyone's change. Remember, this one started out on Saturday of last week. Now it was moved to tomorrow, right? Thursday. Right? Yeah, Thursday. And now it's being moved to Friday. So they know full well that it takes people time and effort to rearrange their schedule and make arrangements to be at a location, to be there for the public input, and they're doing their best to make that difficult. They get paid to be there every single day, so they don't care what day they do it, and they know it's definitely difficult for everybody else. So appreciate everybody who's taken the effort to be aware of the shenanigans and the connivery, and who's putting forth the effort to be there, because it's going to take a deliberate effort to make it to this thing. So hopefully it'll still happen on Friday, and thanks to everybody who can attend that in New Mexico. Got a little serious there, I guess. Then I posted a picture of some bayonets and more Chacos. So I guess we'll see enough Chacos. We'll just jump into main Instagram. Is this working, or is this boring everybody?
It's working.
So this is one of my friends on the Instagram, 2mm pinfire, a guy that has a really cool collection of 2mm pinfires, and these are some of his.
Did he start his before you started yours?
Collection? Heck yeah.
Yes.
Well, maybe not. I've actually owned one of mine, my Tytac, since I was a little baby. I technically stole it off of my parents, so I've had one since I was a little kid, and I used to go around shooting it all the time as a little kid. So I don't know how old this guy. I think he's older than me, but he definitely has more than I do. We could jump over to his page real quick and take a look at some of his collection. It's very impressive. He's got some of the rarest specimens back. Stuff like this little palm pistol is pretty tough to get a hold of. I don't even know
That's one that Dano always likes talking about, but he's usually talking about a bigger one, but the same style, or is he literally talking about that one?
No, he's talking about a real one. This is a 2mm pinfire, like not
okay,
a toy, but a mini version. He's got this little tiniest one, which is like the tiniest production value one. He's got one of the AKs, which are not cheap. I don't know what the deal is on this one, but it looks pretty old and crude, so I'm guessing it's cool. He's got all different kinds of packaging, so he's all about collecting the real deals. So these things were basically novelty made in Japan or something, kind of garbage back in the day. So that's, their packaging reflects it. So part of the collectability of these things is to get some of that old packaging, which almost doesn't exist anymore. Here's a great picture of his collection. He's got this ring, which shoots a multiple, like a revolver style, whole bunch of different pinfires. He's got that AK, again, very expensive and hard to get a hold of. He's got the key remote control, which is basically like a Russian assassin device. It's legit. Like you put a projectile in it and it shoots. The watch is the same way. And then this is a Zippo lighter with the little pinfire gun in it. And I think this is just like a medallion or a medal or something. And if you put a projectile in here, these things will shoot. And you can, I've shot them into cans. I wouldn't
shoot your eye out.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get shot with one. Anyway, this guy has all kinds of cool stuff. This is the burglar alarm thing, I think. And so like a little string on there, and it shoots people that come in your hotel room or something. And then, so he's got all kinds of cool stuff.
Is that a Desert Eagle pinfire? What?
I don't know. I haven't. He snuck that in.
Did you see what one I was talking about, man? Further down.
And 1911 in this thing, and I don't know if they're pinfires, but they're definitely little tiny freaking 19 or those. So yeah, I don't know what the hell going on with that.
Insane. Who knew?
Then we got some pictures of some gloves.
That's Brandon.
You know this guy?
That's Brandon LaBeouf or whatever from Nolatac. He was in some of the chats, I think, either at the beginning of Gun Channels or before Gun Channels.
Oh, okay.
Good guy from Louisiana.
Yeah, I met him a few times in real life. I didn't know he was on Gun Channels.
Yeah, he's the real deal, yeah?
He's a cop or something. So this is Hollow South. He makes these Tytacs and money clips. I've got a couple of them. They're pretty cool. That one looks like the 50 Barrett or something.
Pretty.
Some kind of Mahdi. Or no. Is this a Tontal or is this a Mahdi? That's a Mahdi.
That, I just passed it, I think. That.
Oh, am I locked on me? Hey, there's Bob.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
We hear you talking, but it sounds like you're way down a hallway or something. Like I say, like we can hear you talking, but we know there's a mute or something on.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, now it sounds a little better.
That was Guru.
Yep, looks like he's traveling to Miami or something.
That's weird.
Oh, now we can hear you.
Yeah, I just have to have my mouth on the microphone.
Well, we can hear you. Your mouth right up on there, though.
It just seems weird. I feel like a lounge singer.
So this is a friend of mine who's got a shop, Gunrunner 1978 on the Instagram. I highly recommend you follow his channel. He always does cool stuff. We were talking about BB guns and stuff earlier, kind of. And it looks like he got all three of these BB guns for $10, so he couldn't say no.
Yeah.
I haven't a lever action BB gun in a long time, and those things look legit. Those look like metal and hard plastic.
Dude, look at the shape those are in, man. That's unreal.
These I had plenty of. When I was talking about my friend who got his broke by his dad, this was the kind. That was a BB gun. So these are super cool, though. I never had a lever action.
I never had a lever action one either, dude. Those were always. Wait a minute, I take that back. Because if you remember, like the BB ones that you had to shake.
The Red Rider.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing, though. That is not the same thing.
Ooh, I don't hear about that. And it looks like Laser Light just set up at that thing in Pennsylvania that you posted, and they've been posting all kinds of pictures of people.
Oh yeah, this is the week that the Great American Outdoor Show, or something like that. That's still going on through the 12th in Pennsylvania. Nice.
Yeah.
we have phones like that still around here in a couple of spots.
Really? No, we definitely
except there's actually a phone there.
We definitely do not have them out here anymore. We've got some weird stuff, I guess, there, and then another picture of a gun. I don't know what that is. Some kind of shirt.
At some point, you're gonna hit the best looking morning picture you've seen in a week.
Yeah, I don't know. I think because I've already seen it and liked it, it's showing me shit that's not top.
Well, and you follow a lot more stuff than I do. You know what I mean?
I do. I've already seen that picture you're talking about. Like, I've seen her before. This is CC Tactics.
CC Tactics, yeah.
But I mean, I didn't. Well, I think we've seen her before.
Hello.
But I'd seen yours on my phone earlier, is what I'm saying, and I liked it.
Oh,
so
I hear what you're saying.
It's because it knows that I've seen it. It's not going to show me anything that I've seen already. Yeah, it's just showing me a bunch. But I have seen some of these other pictures. What's all this about? Surefire.
That I would sign up for that ride on the skid. Actually, if they'd let me, I would do that.
Is this one of the things you always just happen to say? I'll keep locals only and shit.
Man, I'd need to hand that patch out more than say it.
Keep all the howlies out.
Yeah, there's a word you put in front of howlies. It starts with an F.
I think that's Canadian gun vault. That's kind of neat. It's like
fantastic howlies. Is that the word?
Fun loving.
It's almost that many syllables.
Festive.
Nope.
Favorite.
Futuristic.
No.
Fantastic. I already say that one.
Think of the word ducking and drop off the G and maybe change the first letter.
I'm not ducking for cover. We're not doing 2 pop quizzes. That's ridiculous.
Right? You're not ready. You can't handle it. No, this is not an answer ambush. However, be ready because we're going deep into overtime here. It could happen.
Yeah,
I mean, I might just do it off of G Web's Instagram. I might just do that. Sneak up behind you like Solid Snake and just whack.
Looks like we got a link from Matt.
Oh, wait a minute. That was Nut. Oh, nice. That was Nut with the your favorite movie in the world, dude.
Yeah, P2261 looks like he's posting a bunch of pictures of Red Dawn here. I don't know what he's trying to prove. So he's got this picture of them looking down at the city. This is when they went to go find out what's going on with their parents and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at this minigun sitting here.
Yeah, what's up with that, dude? What I'm calling because they never fired it.
Well, no, this is probably what would have fallen out of like a helicopter or probably out of a helicopter in a battle, and they just happened to sneak up next to it, obviously.
Other than look at the band of the ammo feeder that's right next to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would have fallen out of a helicopter or something.
All right, so is that a llama or a Tokarev?
Oh, come on. This is CZ. This is, you're pissed off half our audience. A bunch of old people had a conniption right now.
No, I'm just trying to see if I raised a little blood pressure out there. That's all.
All the CZ fanatics just all, freaked out. So, yeah, this is the CZ using Red Dawn. And then
just making sure.
This,
gotta love that rear sight. That's what makes it obvious, right?
What?
Isn't that what makes it obvious? Is that rear sight?
Makes what obvious? What are you talking about?
What the gun is.
No.
Oh.
The rear sight. What are you talking about? This part right here? The rear sight?
Yeah.
No. It's hardly.
That's not the telltale sign of that gun?
No.
Okay.
I mean, are you talking about the engraving right there?
No.
I mean, the engraving, if you can see that it's a Mahdi from that engraving, then I guess, yeah. But no, I mean, you'd probably look at the color, that it's a deep, shiny black, and that, well, in this particular one, like he's saying, they titted it out to look like a 74. So they put in a Bakelite mag, which they probably would have got from China back then, and then put this rigged
triangle,
look like a triangle side folder on it, and then this weird looking brake that they obviously made. So it gave a good impression, though. We all were digging that in this scene. But looking at it, I'm wondering if it's really a gun. Dun dun dun. That kind of looks
you
like.
You think so?
Here is, yeah, that looks a lot like a rubber duck.
Okay, I gotcha.
So that doesn't really look as much like a selector as a molded in piece of the whole thing. And it's possible that for an outdoor scene like that, why would they want to worry about a real gun? It would just ruin the gun. They don't need it to shoot anything. They didn't shoot in the scene. They just got killed.
Right. They were fodder.
And there's his reenactment of it, I guess. Pretty good version of it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
He just needs to push this up and then put a bunch of the JB weld all around
it. I didn't think that was a real thing.
All right, so that was a little bit of Instagram, a little bit of extra gravy or extra frosting, however you want to look at it, a little extra maple syrup, if Bob was describing it, on your daily gun show today. And that was because mainly Matt was being lazy and didn't want to start a show on time, so he's going to start it now. And we figured we'd fill the gap, right?
Yep, we are doing what we can.
So
keep the audience entertained.
We are going to recommend that you, if you enjoy listening to live stuff, that you get over to Gun Channels and you listen to Never Enough Ammo, who's going to have his weekly Guns and Geek chat, or no, Guns chat mostly, Guns and Politics, I guess, and then all the other stuff that Z talked about a bit ago. Bob, are you around to be able to do your quote? Get your mouth up all on there. Whatever. I guess he's going to have to do Bob.
All right. This one is from Luke, chapter 11, verse 21. Yeah, getting all biblical on you out there. When a strong man, fully armed, guards his house, his possessions are safe.
It usually puts a little caveat.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.
It's 11:59.
Oops.
Welcome to the Guns and Geeks podcast, your home for guns, politics, and geek goodness you love to discuss. Brought to you by GunChannels.com and available on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, and SoundCloud.